Minister of Finance, Neil Reichenberg, Honorable Minister of Information, Communication and Technology, Savannah Mazia, Principal Secretary for the Ministry of ICT, our esteemed Acting Chairperson of the Board, Prince Lusegwane, Commissioner General Brightwell Ngambule for the ERS, distinguished panelists and speakers, representatives from our valued stakeholders and captains of industry, to our audience watching online, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning and a warm welcome to the ERS Digitalization Roadmap Symposium. My name is Ndobeko Dlamini. I'm the ERS Director for Communications and Marketing, and it is my absolute pleasure to serve as your Program Director for today's event. Honorable Minister and distinguished guests, our program today is robust. We will hear about the journey that we have taken as we seek to be a digitalized organization and the roadmap we plan to follow to achieve the status. We will talk about the plans that we have and the leveraging of various technologies to drive revenue collection and enhance our client experience. We will bring in key industry collaborators and unpack the role of public infrastructure, digital public infrastructure, in enabling digitalization programs in the country, while identifying areas of collaboration within ERS. We will then shift our focus to the human side of digitalization and understand how ERS is planning to prepare not only their staff, but their customers for these transformative changes. And of course, we could not host a digitalization symposium without hearing from a woman who has been at the forefront behind Eswatini's digitalization transformation strategy, our Honorable Minister Savannah, who will deliver her keynote address. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, we will move on to our first agenda item, which includes welcome remarks from the acting ERS board chairperson, Prince Lusegwane. He will share his insights and formally introduce us all and welcome us all to today's session. Please, ladies and gentlemen, join me in a round of applause and welcoming our board chair to the stage.
Honorable Minister of Finance, Mr. Neil Reichenberg, Honorable Minister of Information, Communication and Technology, Ms. Savannah Mazia, Principal Secretary, Minister of Finance, Principal Secretary, Ministry of Information, Communication and Technology, ERS board members, ERS Commissioner General and your management team, captains of industries in your respective portfolios, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I am pleased to welcome you all to Eswatini Revenue Service Digitalization Symposium. Today is a momentous occasion for the ERS as we gather to chart a future that is transformative for the organization and the Kingdom of Eswatini as a whole. Under the theme digitalized and data-driven with our partners, this event encapsulates our vision of leveraging digital transformation to enhance revenue collection and redefine the taxpayer experience. This theme underscores a collaborative approach, emphasizing that our success hinges on partnerships with policymakers, stakeholders, and most importantly, the taxpayers we serve. Allow me to take a moment to express our profound gratitude to the Honorable Minister of Finance and the Honorable Minister of ICT. Your presence here today is a testament to your unwavering commitment to the success of ERS. Beyond being here with us, you have been instrumental in creating the enabling environment for these digitalization ambitions to thrive. On behalf of the board, we sincerely thank you for your steadfast support and leadership. A moment of acknowledgement and appreciation must also go to the management and staff of Eswatini Revenue Service. You have demonstrated remarkable dedication and foresight in driving projects and initiatives that have already begun to bear fruit. From innovations that improve revenue collection efficiency to solutions that enhance how our clients experience our services, your work has laid the foundation for the transformative agenda we will discuss today. Your efforts do not go unnoticed, and today is as much a celebration of your achievements as it is a platform to unveil our future aspirations. On behalf of the board, I thank you for your commitment and diligence, which have brought us to this pivotal juncture. To our distinguished guests, your attendance here reflects your shared commitment to advancing Eswatini's development. As the ERS unveils its digital products and solutions aligned with the 2024-2027 strategy, I am confident that the insights and outputs generated today will propel us forward. Together, we will move closer to achieving a more efficient, transparent, and client-centered revenue system, ultimately driving the betterment of our beloved kingdom. As we proceed with today's sessions, I urge you all to engage actively, share ideas, and explore opportunities for collaboration. Let this symposium serve not only as a platform dialogue, but as a launchpad for innovation and progress. Once again, welcome, and I look forward to the valuable contributions and outcomes that will emerge from this pivotal event. I thank you.
Thank you, Acting Board Chair, for your remarks and reminding us that the successes of our ambitions will touch, successes of our ambitions we will touch on today hinges on the partnerships with our policymakers, with our stakeholders, and most importantly, the taxpayers that we serve. Next on our agenda, we are pleased to have the Honorable Minister of Finance, Neil Reichenberg, officially open the proceedings for today's event. The Minister's vision aligns closely with ERS's transformation agenda, and we eagerly anticipate, Minister, to hear his reflections on the vital role of digitalization in the economy as well as revenue collection. The Minister has bestowed upon me the privilege of slightly bypassing protocol today and wearing the hat of his PS just for this moment. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming our Honorable Minister of Finance to the stage to deliver his remarks. Thank you, Minister.
Thank you so much for standing in for the PS of Ministry of Finance. Honorable Minister of ICT, Savannah Mazia, the PS and the Minister of ICT, the Acting Chairperson and the members of the ERS Board, Commissioner General of Eswatini Revenue Services, management and staff of ERS, distinguished guests, representatives of the private sector, development partners, civil society, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you all. Unfortunately, I couldn't arrive spot on time this morning. I had to wait for Nati Dlamini. So unfortunately, when he came in, only then could I actually follow in and make sure that we were all here present. So my apologies for Nati's late coming this morning, unfortunately. It's a privilege to welcome you all to Eswatini Revenue Services Digitalization Symposium. This gathering is a testament of the shared commitment of government and stakeholders in transforming our nation through innovative solutions and forward-thinking strategies. First and foremost, I wish to extend my heartfelt gratitude to everyone in this room. Your organization's contributions to our country's fiscus is invaluable. Whether through direct compliance, advocacy, or collaboration, your efforts enable the government to fund critical public services, to foster economic growth, to invest in the future of our beloved Eswatini. Before we delve into today's agenda, it's important to celebrate a significant achievement, though, of our nation. Recently, Moody's upgraded Eswatini's credit rating to B2 stable, a milestone that signals that global investors, Eswatini is on a path to improving financial stability and economic health. This achievement reflects the resilience of our policies and the concerted efforts to enhance our fiscal disciplines and economic reforms. The Moody's upgrade is a testament to the work being done across all sectors to stabilize and grow our economy. For investors, it sends a powerful message that Eswatini is a destination for opportunities and partnerships. This success is also a response to His Majesty's Nkwe for Growth call, which inspires us to seek innovative, sustainable, and inclusive economic pathways. I'd also like to take this opportunity to highlight the recent income tax order amendments, which came into effect on the 1st of July 2024. Amongst the significant changes is the reduction in corporate tax to 25%. This reduction is a game changer for both public and private sector businesses. It provides relief for businesses, fostering a more competitive environment while also encouraging compliance and growth within the economy. Through these amendments, we have also introduced the presumptive tax regime, which is specifically designed to bring small and medium enterprises into the tax system. SMEs are the backbone of our economy, and this initiative represents a step towards inclusivity and equity in our tax framework. I'm confident that these measures will not only enhance revenue collection, but also support businesses in contributing to our national development goals. The Eswatini Revenue Services has heeded the call of the importance of digitization in tax administration by taking significant strides towards realizing its digital ambitions. ERS's transformational journey is aligned with His Majesty's vision as it continues to modernize revenue collection through data-driven digital solutions. These advancements are not just about efficiency. They represent a broader commitment to fostering a thriving and compliant economy. Ladies and gentlemen, digitization is the cornerstone of effective and efficient revenue collection. The ERS's ongoing digital transformation journey is pivotal in streamlining tax processes, improving client experiences, and enhancing transparency. These advancements ensure that both businesses and individuals can engage with the tax system more seamlessly, fostering trust and compliance. Today's discussions will continue to delve into the innovative steps being taken by the ERS and its partners. And I look forward to hearing about these strides being made in areas such as seamless registration, transformed declarations, integrated payments, and smart borders. These initiatives are essential to building a resilient and adaptive revenue system. Allow me also to extend my sincere gratitude to the Minister of ICT, Savannah Mazia, for her participation and support in today's symposium. The mutual synergies between our ministries are evident, and I'm confident that the collaborations achieved through events like this will further strengthen our collective efforts towards a digital and inclusive Eswatini. Together, we are setting the stage for a smarter, more connected future. In closing, I encourage you all to engage actively in today's discussions. Your insights and contributions are crucial in shaping the way forward. I'm excited about the opportunities that lie ahead as we continue to innovate and collaborate for the betterment of our nation. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Minister, for those remarks, which have set the tone for today's discussions. And also thank you, Minister, for acknowledging the impacting contributions individuals and businesses alike make towards the social contract that exists between government and its citizens. Honorable ministers, distinguished guests, we are now starting our program. Our next agenda item is the first panel of the day, where we will get to hear about ERS's digital ambitions and how we plan to turn these ambitions into success stories. In this session, titled ERS Digital Ambitions, our Commissioner General, Brightwell Ngambule, will highlight the milestones we have achieved thus far. Thereafter, he will allow his panel to unpack the digital ambitions, which will help to create a future-ready ERS. Allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to call onto the stage Brightwell Ngambule, ERS Commissioner General, Vusi Ngampalala, Commissioner for Domestic Taxes, Sakamuzi Mtunzi, Acting Head of Business Strategy, and Tobile Lamini, the Chief Financial Officer, as well as Gugu Mahlinza, our Commissioner for Customs and Excise. As the guests make their way to the stage, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to hear from you. We would like to hear your thoughts, your questions, and your feedback. We have set up Slido to capture your questions. You can access Slido on www.slido.com and enter the code #ERS1112 and select the poll, please, and you can make your submissions. The Commissioner will then, after this panel, lead the Q&A. Commissioner, let me hand over to you to start your proceedings with your panel.
Honorable Ministers, Finance and ICT, board members, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning, and thank you for joining us this morning in this very, very important event. This part of the symposium will be unpacking the ERS digital ambitions. Now, the digital ambitions are extremely important because as we all know, before you embark on a very important journey, it's very important that you clarify your ambitions. The ambitions then provide the compass for your journey. They become the Northern Star, providing unwavering clarity and direction and focus. So I will, at this point, pause to allow the technical team to play a very, very short clip that will summarize the ambitions, after which the panel will then unpack. Thank you very much.
The Eswatini Revenue Service, empowered by the ERS Act of 2008, is committed to mobilizing revenue and facilitating legitimate trade. Driving digital transformation. Our strategic theme is to be digitalized, data-driven, and partner-focused by 2027. Guided by this theme, we are embracing a future where technology drives autonomous processes, enhancing efficiency, transparency, and service delivery for a thriving Eswatini. Our digital transformation fully automates the tax or customs value chain, registration, declaration, and payment. Our digital transformation revolves around 4 ambitious goals. 1. Seamless registration. Imagine a world where registering as a taxpayer is effortless. By integrating with government databases, we will ensure that data collected at public touchpoints flows securely into our tax administration system. With real-time updates, our records will remain accurate and reliable. Through these innovations, we will enhance the integrity of our taxpayer database, fully automate registration processes, and make registering for individuals and businesses seamless and stress-free. 2. Transformed declarations. Tax filing and customs declarations will never be the same. Leveraging advanced data integration, we will pre-fill tax returns and import-export declarations with real-time, accurate information straight from the client and third-party databases. This innovation will minimize manual entries, reduce compliance costs, and enhance accuracy. Security is paramount. We will ensure every client's data is safeguarded. With scalable solutions, our systems are ready to adapt to the future, making compliance simpler for years to come. 3. Integrated payments. Picture this: tax and customs payments reimagined. Our systems will interface directly with banking platforms, offering faster processing and instant payments. The result? A quicker, more intuitive, and hassle-free payment experience for everyone. 4. Smart customs. At our borders, we are deploying cutting-edge automation to create a secure, efficient trade environment. By reducing clearance times and trade costs, we are fostering collaboration with stakeholders while enhancing risk management. Our Smart Customs initiative will facilitate legitimate trade, detect and regulate risky goods more effectively, and create a virtual border experience for trusted traders. These stakeholders while enhancing risk management. Our smart
So thank you, Honorable Minister and distinguished guests. So we continue with the program. Now, our digital ambitions have been crafted around our primary value chain, and the tax and customs value chain is extremely simple. It has only 3 major processes: register, file, and pay. Or register, declare, and pay. That's it. Very, very simple. So our digital ambitions, therefore, are around automating these only 3 processes. Automating them to the extent where they shall be autonomous, meaning disruptive technology shall be implemented so that these processes unfold on their own. What happens to us? We transition. We become your tax and customs advisors because the technology will do all the hard work. Let me at this point introduce the panel. At the far end, we have Vusi Ngampalala, who is the Commissioner of Domestic Taxes. He will unpack the seamless registration program. He is also program owner for that program. Next to Vusi is Acting Head of Business Strategy and Development, Mr. Mtunzi. Mr. Sakhamuzi Mthunzi. And Mthunzi will talk to the transformed declarations or transformed returns process. Next to Mthunzi, we have the Chief Financial Officer, Ms. Tobile Dlamini. She will talk to the Integrated Payments Program. She's leading the program as well. Next to me is the Commissioner of Customs, Gugu Mahlinza. She will talk to the Smart Customs Program. She's leading that program as well. So let us start with Vusi Ngampalala at the far end. Vusi, please unpack the seamless registration program for us, and then outline how it will reduce or even eliminate compliance barriers for the benefit of our clients. Please go ahead.
Thank you, moderator, and good morning, everyone. The seamless registration program, I think in your preamble, you have simplified it for me. We are trying to make it easy for clients to register for a tax identity number, which is the first requirement that all clients are expected to have in order to enter into the tax system. So the TIN is a prerequisite for our clients to interact with us and also interact with us through the borders. So the seamless registration, as the name precludes, it says we want to make it easier. You've said it correctly, moderator, by saying we want it to be as automatic as possible. So what we are planning to do in this program, we want to ensure that taxpayers who go to register with the registrar of companies or the municipal council, depending on the size of that business, on the registration for that business certificate, they will be issued with a tax identity number. Before meeting the registrar of companies this morning, I was thinking that the process will take some few hours or days, not more than a week. But after we had a chat this morning, he confirmed that on issuance of the certificate of incorporation, the taxpayer will go home with a tax identity number, which means there will be no need for taxpayers to come to the ERS to register. Ours will be to monitor the activity and know when the taxpayer is starting to make money. So our processes are going to connect systems between us and the points where companies register so that it doesn't require customers to come to ERS to acquire a tax identity number. So that is what seamless registration is going to entail in the future. So you also asked a question on what does this mean to our clients. You will know that currently clients need to register with the Ministry of Commerce, Registrar of Companies specifically, and then take those same pack of documents to the ERS so that they can be issued with the TIN before they start interacting with the taxman. So what this means then, we will not require clients to be coming to the ERS to register. Commerce and the ERS will be talking to each other. The systems, not even individuals, the system will be talking to each other, and we will issue clients with TINs without having to come here. So there is a reduction in the cost there, compliance cost specifically, because ERS being data-driven, we still detect some elements of taxpayers who are doing business out there but are not registered. And we see them almost every month. We have a list of those taxpayers because the compliant ones do declare where they buy these things from. So this process will ensure that we do not penalize these clients, because once we detect through our other means, we are forced to enforce there, which is something that we will eliminate. Once you register for your certificate, you will definitely have a TIN, and ERS will be talking to you as frequently as possible. So we will see that reduction there. Also, the deregistration process will be seamless, because some entities go to the Ministry of Commerce to deregister because of reasons known to them, but do not come to the taxman to deregister. Now that our systems will be talking to each other, we'll be able to know that client A is no more in business, and we have some processes we'll need to follow here. So in short, we want to ensure that the steps that are currently we engage in when registering taxpayers this side are eliminated, or they become invisible. It is the registering entities that will take care of that through the systems. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Vusi. Just a few points that one would like to emphasize here. The first is that yes, we will deploy technology, but most important, very important, is collaboration. We will be collaborating with other public enterprises to share data with the ultimate aim of making it simple to register, effectively taking away the pain and avoiding penalties, because we do not want our clients or taxpayers to pay a penny more than what they're supposed to pay. So this process will definitely eliminate even the need to enforce. We're no longer enforcing now. We have since moved from using coercive measures to persuasive measures. May I at this point invite Mthunzi next to Vusi. So Mthunzi will be sharing with us the program that will transform the whole filing and declaration process. Mthunzi, please go ahead. Thank you.
All right, thank you, moderator. Good morning, all. The pre-population program, declaration pre-population program the aim of it is that we want to have our businesses have the same experience that a normal individual would have on PAYE, where you don't do anything on tax. All that you see is a line on your payslip to see if tax was deducted on you. So just imagine a situation where, as a business, you do what you do best, that is doing your business, and at the background, the computer does the declaration for you, and at the end of the day or month, you just click a button to accept the declaration as it is. The benefit of this is that we will get accurate declarations. It will also save time for businesses because they will be focusing on what they do best. It will also improve the on-time filing compliance. It is worth mentioning that this has been a journey coming way back from manual paper filing to self-service. Now we are on VAT, we're on using schedules. We started off with VAT, now it's pay-as-you-earn. So we want to push it a little bit further in such a way that now it shouldn't be a human doing that declaration on the schedules, but it will be the computers from ERS and also your enterprise resource system. So this is for all the tax types. So we've started off now with this journey. There's a tender that is current, which actually seeks to get the technology that can be used in sharing this information between the two systems. being the ERP from the customer side and our own Cortex systems, which is ORMP. So that is what we are planning to do. Thank you, moderator.
Thank you, Mthunzi. Thank you very much. Distinguished guests, there you have it. We will have technology that will just do all the work for you. Then all that you will do is just concentrate on running your business. So in the background, he made an example of pay as you earn, that employees do not have to worry about going to the ERS to pay their pay as you earn, because the employers do it for them. Again, with the VAT taxpayers, the supermarkets out there, the VAT taxpayers don't have to worry about coming here because the supermarkets do it for them. Now, this technology that he's talking about is technology that will give employers, you, businesses, the same experience. So we will be connecting our systems to your systems, and we'll be collecting the invoices as and when you issue them, so that we prepare the return for you in the case of the income taxes, and you don't have to worry. You just focus on running your business. When it comes to customs, we already have, I'm happy that Montigne is here. Later in the program, he will share with you that this is not just pie in the sky. It is an initiative that is there. They don't have to log into Ascoda. They just do their work, and in the background, the systems do all the work. Isn't that not what we are looking for, ladies and gentlemen? To just focus on running our business. Yes. Thank you very much, Mthunzi. And indeed, we have published a tender right now that will do this invoicing gymnastics that I'm talking about. It will be collecting the invoices as you issue them and bringing them here at the ERS so that we can do the work for you. By the way, in East Africa, this technology is very mature right now. We're actually about 14, 15 years behind. Some of them started in 2010, some started in 2014. So this is mature technology, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to assure and reassure you there so that you don't worry. Thank you. So can we then move to the next panelist here? Remember, I said the tax and customs process is extremely simple. You just register, you pay, you register, you declare, and you pay. So CFO will now talk to the payment process. She will also share on how we will be simplifying the process for you. Thank you, CFO.
Thank you, moderator. I am looking after the integrated payments program. So the main purpose for this project is to enable seamless integration of banking systems with the ERS receipting system to allow for improved turnaround time. Currently, this process involves several steps where you have to go to different platforms to enable payment after the declarations and the completion of returns. So the benefits is, of course, the improved receipting system, such that once you make your payment through the integrated payment system, your receipts will immediately be issued by the tax system or the customs system, as it could. So what happens then is that your tax account will immediately be updated with your payment on real time. So we are able to, another benefit is that we are able to integrate with new modes of payments, such as online or card payments on TaxEase, as well as Asikuda. This will help us to reduce, we are currently faced with a situation of suspense accounts because our esteemed taxpayers sometimes forget to put the correct referencing when they make their payments. So we have to have people to now clear that long list of suspense transactions. So with the system, you will no longer have to be cramming on how to put in the correct referencing the current references. So what is going to happen is that the system will reference for you. And with the integration with the banking systems, that means that if the reference is incorrect, obviously it will not be accepted. But with the pre-population, again, we are anticipating that you will not need to put in the reference yourself. So another benefit is that even when you are using the modes of payment such as Momo and POS at our service points or border posts, again, that on real time integration or crediting of your accounts, tax accounts or customs accounts will happen. So that is one of the improvements. This project is in 3 phases. The first phase being the integration with the banking, our 5 local banks. And then the second phase is the Momo and POS. The third phase is the e-commerce. E-commerce such as you are using currently when you buy something online. So we are also looking at it from that angle. We expect that this project, it's already started. So we expect that full implementation will happen during our next financial year, which is starting in April 2024. Thank you, moderator.
Thank you, Tobile. So, distinguished guests, there you have it. We've simplified the payment process as well. We will then now come to smart customs. Before I pose the question for Kuku, let me just summarize for everyone here. The ERS's mandate is tax and customs. What that means is that we have the responsibility to mobilize revenue for the Ministry of Finance. We also have a responsibility, working with the Ministry of Commerce now, to facilitate legitimate trade, meaning simplify the movement of goods, legitimate goods, in and out of the country. So Gugu will be talking to Smart Customs, another initiative that we have at the ERS, and we are working with a number of partners in this initiative. The NTFC is one such partner. And really our major aim here is to help provide access, easy access to goods produced in the country to foreign destinations or clients. So Gugu, please go ahead. Tell us more about this Smart Customs initiative and how it will help grow business in the country. Thank you.
Thank you, moderator, and good morning to everyone. The moderator has already touched on the work of customs, but I can also reiterate what he has said, that customs controls the movement of goods across our borders. And by borders, we don't only mean the land borders, but we've got the airports, we've got railway stations, and we also have the post office. So those are our borders or entry points. So one of the main functions of customs is that of facilitating trade across our borders. And the key objective of trade facilitation is to minimize the waiting times at our borders without compromising controls. So when we talk trade facilitation, it's not like we're going to allow people to go through. We are facilitating trade, but we still need to make sure that we exercise the necessary controls to the goods. So when you talk smart borders or smart customs, the S stands for securing and facilitating legitimate trade. So we are there to secure and facilitate legitimate trade with measurable processes that support performance measurement and evaluation. And of course, when we facilitate the trade, we have processes, so we should automate our processes to enable collection of data as well as its analysis. And there's quite a number of goods that move across our borders, and we can't touch all those consignments that come through our borders or even at entry and at exit. So we need to have risk-based decisions using up-to-date information for profiling and selective interventions. And of course, with the minimal resources that we have to take advantage of technology that is non-intrusive equipment, your scanners, barcode readers, electronic cells, digital cameras. Our digital ambition then within the customs space, we have touched on registration, declaration, as well as payments. But in the customs space, we are looking at having a single declaration. When you talk of international trade, there is an exporting country and an importing country. So what we are looking at is when we are exporting, as the moderator has mentioned, your ERP system should generate the invoice, and that invoice should pre-populate the customs declaration in the customs system. And again, that declaration should then be populated into the importing country's customs system. Same when the goods are coming into the country. The declaration for the exporting country should be converted to an import declaration in Eswatini. That is what we then refer to as a single declaration. That will help to minimize errors and ensure that what you say you have exported in the other country is recorded as an import in the other country. So it raises compliance, and it also saves time for the trader. Instead of capturing the declaration so many times, that will be done once through invoicing in his system. What we also looking at is that for imports and exports, there are requirements that must be met. For instance, if you are importing some goods or exporting some goods, you would need your permit. And these permits are issued by other regulatory agencies. So we want to integrate with the systems of those agencies so that the process is seamless. When you get an import permit for products, that permit should be pre-populated into the customs system so that you don't have to submit manual documents or even walk from one office to the next. But the question then is, can we do this alone? No, we can't. When we talk international trade, we're talking of the exporting country and the importing country. So we have partnered with South Africa, but we'll be doing this in the region, but our priority is South Africa because most of our trade is with South Africa, where we will implement the single declaration in this strategic period that we have. So partnership is very key. We also partner with other customs administrations. We are also partnering with other regulatory agencies nationally. The moderator mentioned the National Trade Facilitation Committee, which has a roadmap, and in the roadmap, this is part of the work that is being done, so that you don't have to jump from one office to the next when you are importing or exporting goods. So in a few words, for customs, smart customs will be a no-stop for compliant traders. And our compliant traders are those that we trust, our trusted traders. We have a program, the Authorized Economic Operators Program. So those will benefit because when they come to the border, for them it will be a no-stop. And we're going to do this with all the other regulatory agencies. Thank you, Moderator.
Thank you, Kuku. The work that we are doing in customs, in simple terms, it is meant to make it as easy to move goods in and out of the country as it is to move goods within the country. So imagine moving your goods from Manzini to Mbabane. It's seamless. You don't even notice, where the whole district starts. We want that to be as simple as well when moving goods to destinations outside the country. And recently, we launched the AFTA, Africa Free Trade Continental Area, at our NTFC. Now, you can imagine the entire African continent now being our client base as producers in the country. And that's a market that is, what are the numbers? Co-chair, what are the numbers there? Over 1 billion. Yes. So we no longer have to worry about our small population in the country. We'll have access to the entire continent as our market. So in summary, ladies and gentlemen, this program is meant, really, in simple terms, I always say it is meant to take away pain from compliance. So you don't have to worry now about additional compliance costs because the technology will just do it. I did mention earlier that we feel pain each time we have to levy penalties. But with the technology, those days will be gone. So this program will be a benefit to you. It will be a benefit to traders. It will be a benefit to government as well. So all that we need to do going forward is to work together. You will notice that we have not been talking about figures because the objective is to reduce compliance costs. But if I were to mention the figures, just in passing, our annual tax gap is up to 4.5 billion emalangeni. I got the attention of the Minister of Finance. If everyone were to comply, Honorable Minister, we would add 4 billion on top of what you presented in Parliament. That is, if everybody were to comply. Now, the technology will move the dial, but what we ultimately need is the appetite, is the willingness, is the desire to comply. And with this session here today, I believe we are on the same page. We are on the same page here in uplifting the economy of this country. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It seemed very simple.
Thank you, CG, and your panel. We will now be moving on to our Q&A part of the program. CG, we'd like you to lead this one. I'm seeing that we already have a number of questions populated on Slido. If you could just lead this session for us and have your panelists respond to some of the questions that have been posed on Slido, 1 or 2, and then we will also just pick 1 or 2 questions from our audience in the room. We do have our mics ready if there are any questions that you'd like to pose to today's contributions.
May I invite Commissioner Customs to take the first question? To what extent have we engaged in the work that we do? And then the second question, we'll just take one question, ladies and gentlemen, in the interest of time. However, we will respond to all the questions on the Slido platform. So if you can take the first one, Gugu, I will make comments on the following questions.
Thank you, moderator. On the engagement with our stakeholders, as mentioned, we do have the National Trade Facilitation Committee, where all the stakeholders involved in trade are members. Almost all government agencies are members of the National Trade Facilitation Committee. So we meet and we discuss these issues, and we do have committees. It's not only for government agencies, but also your transporters, clearing agents, so on and so forth. But again, within the customs space, we also have the Customs to Business Forum, where we do engage with our stakeholders, and at the regional level, we do have the forums where we engage with other customs administrations. Thank you.
Okay. May I then just comment on the question on taxing the digital players and government readiness? So, interesting that this is a matter we were just discussing hardly 2 weeks ago with the minister in our tax policy meeting. There are a number of initiatives that are currently on the go on taxing the digital economy. One such initiative is even supported by ATAF. The other initiative that we are taking here, a very simple one. We thought we'll just do something really simple. We'll write them a letter and tell them that we are aware that they are doing business in the country and persuade them to give them our fair share of the taxes that should be paid in the country. Very, very simple, and the letter is ready. We'll be dispatching it in the coming days. There are also very sophisticated solutions. I'm happy to see my brother from the CBE, from the Central Bank. There are a number of sophisticated solutions that will be on the go over time. I will just explain one very briefly. The payments for these services are paid out of bank accounts held in Eswatini. So once we see the automation of the bank take speed and fully rolled out, we will be able to see the payments that are going out there to pay for the services that are being consumed in the country. We will then improve the letter. We will then say in the letter, Google, you are doing business at Eswatini, and 3 weeks ago, you collected so many emalangeni. Give us our fair share of the tax. So you see the roadmap. We're starting simple. We're just writing a letter, expecting that there will be feedback. And then over time, we will then write on the sophisticated solutions that we are rolling out in our digital public infrastructure, thanks to CBE. So with your permission, may we conclude there and just appreciate the work that government is doing in improving the digital public infrastructure. We cannot digitize tax without government. So we are very happy to see that government is going full steam right now, and we are looking forward to the message from the Minister of ICT later in the event. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you to our moderator and your panel. Another round of applause, please, for ERS unpacking the digitalization ambitions. Honorable ministers and distinguished guests, you got to hear for yourself the work that ERS is doing to try and make tax and customs compliance simpler for our clients. The key takeaway from today's panel seems to come out clearly is the importance for collaboration. These ambitions cannot be achieved in a vacuum. We need our partners. And I think that is a perfect segue for the next panel discussion that we're about to embark on, where we are going to be having critical conversations on the role of digital public infrastructure in enabling digitalization programs in Eswatini. Ladies and gentlemen, as we navigate the global digital revolution, robust digital public infrastructure has become the backbone of economic growth, public service delivery, and national competitiveness. It enables connectivity, it fosters innovation, and ensures that citizens and businesses alike can participate in the digital economy. In the next session that we're about to embark on, ladies and gentlemen, we will delve into the transformative impact of digital public infrastructure, with a particular focus in the role of digitalization for tax and customs operations. I'd like to call upon our moderator for this next section, Dr. Andile Metula, the acting CEO for the Royal Science and Technology Park, who will moderate this session with some of his key players and collaborators. Welcome, Dr. Metula.
Thank you, Program Director. Honorable Ministers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor for me to participate in this symposium. I must start by declaring, by calling I'm a teacher. So when the CG gave me the order, he's my elder brother. So I said to him, you want me to be a moderator, but you know that once I start talking, I don't stop. It's similar to a person who is a recovering alcoholic and asking them to run a tavern. What then happens is that you find the person that's supposed to run the tavern drinking with the patrons. So that's the problem, because as the discussions go, I may be tempted to then come in, but that is why they made me a moderator, so that that doesn't happen. I've greeted my bosses, the ministers. As introduced by the program director, I am Andile Metula. I work for the RSTP, and because ERS had a nice video in the beginning, they didn't tell us as RSTP to bring our own, so I'm going to take a minute to market RSTP. The RSTP is a state-of-the-art innovation hub established to drive Eswatini's transition to a knowledge-based economy. The park serves as a platform for fostering research, development, and innovation across various sectors, particularly in ICT and in biotech. Our distinguished panelists will share, as the program director has alluded, they will share insights on digital programs that their organizations are rolling out. These programs are key enablers for the digital agenda for our country. Without further ado, let me invite our panelists to come on stage. And being the wonderful audience that you are, I'm going to request that when I call their names, you give them a big round of applause until they get here. The first one is Mr. Msebe Malinga, who is the Registrar of Companies. The second one is Mr. Mvila Dlamini, the CESCOM. And then the third one is Mr. Sabelo Gama from the Central Bank. They want to stay as far away from me as possible. Yes, next to me is Babe Gama from CPE. Next to him is Umnane Nkosi Babe Mvila Dlamini, CESCOM. And then on my far right is Babe Malinga, the Registrar of Companies. Because of time, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to introduce them, and then in the same introduction, I'm also going to ask questions, but I'm going to start with Babe Malinga, who is going to talk about digital company registration in the kingdom. As Eswatini continues its journey toward digital transformation, one area of critical focus is improving the ease of doing business. I'm sure you've been told that in other parts of the world, it takes minutes to register a company, and you can do it in just one place, in a click of a button. That is where we want to go as a country. The digitalization of the company registration process is not just a step forward. It is a leap that has the potential to transform the entire business ecosystem in Eswatini. By streamlining processes for entrepreneurs, this initiative will significantly reduce the administrative bottlenecks and pave the way for faster, more efficient service delivery. Moreover, its impact extends beyond businesses to benefit service providers, regulators, and law enforcement by fostering greater transparency, accountability, and collaboration. We are privileged to have Babe Malinga, the Registrar of Companies, to shed light on this exciting development. Babe Malinga, the digitalization of company registration is a pivotal project with far-reaching implications for the kingdom. And could you please, maybe let me not expand the question so that I don't confuse you, because as a teacher, it's easy for me to confuse you. Could you please provide us with an overview of this initiative? Specifically, we would like to understand the key milestones you've set, the anticipated timelines for implementation, and how this project is expected to transform the ease of doing business and drive economic growth in the kingdom.
Thank you, Dokotela, and good morning. It's being told sometimes is a problem. I'm not going to do this. Okay, it's fine. All right. Okay. Digitizing company registration for us as the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade is no more an option or a preference, but it is now a legal obligation in that we already have a companies bill in place, tabled in Parliament, passed the processes, a House of Assembly. And why am I saying it's a legal obligation for us now as the Minister of Commerce? It is because the provision for an online business registry is now enshrined in the company's bill. So it is no more an option or a preference, it is a legal obligation. In fact, the title of the Act itself says the bill will provide for an efficient registration and incorporation of companies on electronic and online platforms. So it's in the Act, it's in the legal framework. Also, the objectives of the bill, one of the objectives of the bill is to provide an application of modernized rules for company regulation, which means even the company regulation and updates should be done digitally, so it's in the legal framework. Far-reaching implications, Dokotela, you've asked. But before we get there, what is the bill introducing Gakulu? It's the issue of an online company registration service or system. I think Vusi earlier on did highlight on the expectations of this platform. Indeed, we are going 100% paperless, no paper environment. He also highlighted on a collaboration between company registration and the tax authority. Yes, the system will have a provision for the application of a tax identity number as the applicant fills in the application form. So by the time the company is registered or incorporated, you will have both the company identity number and the tax identity number for the company. So everything will be done in half a day. Okay. And what are the implications then? One, it is the increased efficiency. So by streamlining processes for company registration through digital platforms, significantly they will reduce effort and time for company registration, which will attract both local and foreign investors. It also talks to reducing costs for both government and the private sector. Costs to government will go printing and procurement of machinery and consumables, because everything will be done online. And to the public or the private sector, costs associated with the compilation, printing, and travel costs and payments for those services will be reduced. Also, the issue of the second achievement would be transparency and accountability. So an online registry provides for, or enhances the transparency in that it provides company information easily accessible to the public, which will curb corruption, but also increase accountability. This will also extend to our partners and friends, accountable institutions, reporting institutions, and competent authorities. We've already mentioned e-tax authority. Law enforcement is also a part of those that will be enjoying the benefits of this system. Prosecution, the central bank, financial institutions, they will also be linked to, or in the same system where they'll view information easily. We're also looking at economic growth, wherein we have an online registration platform. We are simply simplifying processes and procedure for starting a business in Eswatini, which means company registration. And what are we saying then? We are saying if we open up mass services that will simplify the entry of the informal sector into the formal space, we are enhancing entrepreneurship and illustration of more businesses in the space, which will help in the economic growth of the country. It also talks to the issue here, formal tax collection, and also the issue of improved compliance, which issue here compliance with the digital systems. We anticipate easy compliance with company registration requirements, which will also be dealing with issues of unnecessary fines and sanctions to business, because everything will be happening digitally without a paper services. Whilst we're doing everything, moderator, we are cognizant of our data protection and security. So by having a digital platform, we are also looking at protecting sensitive company registration information to unauthorized users, and also protecting, of course, the system itself, because with the paper service, there's a lot of issues of information that might be leaking or will be used or accessed by unauthorized users. So we are also cognizant of data security. And lastly, the issue of global competitiveness. By adopting a more modernized services or platforms like digital, we are placing Eswatini in a position that will attract both the local and foreign investors, but mostly the foreign investors, in that Eswatini will be a better destination for doing business. Remember, Sigu ease of doing business, and we are competing with the rest of the world as Eswatini. So by providing a more simplified process and procedure, we are placing Eswatini in a better position. But we are also looking at the issue of doing business, as we are ranked as Eswatini with the rest of the world. But also we are looking at the issue here, compliance with the international bodies like your FATF, your SMLAC, and your OECD, in that we also need to comply with the requirements and obligations of Eswatini in issues that pertain to money laundering and finance of terrorism. Timelines, Dogodela, that one. Okay, we already have a company's bid in place, and we are hopeful that by the end of March, we will have an Act of Parliament in place. So we'll have a Companies Act in place by the end of March 2025. Now, as I had said earlier on, the Companies Bill introduces the electronic business registry. So we'll have a one-year transition before we effect the new Companies Act. So we have a system in place. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Malinga. I think we all had the commitments that he made. He said in a year. That's one. Number two, he said once everything is in place, it will take half a day, which is 12 hours. I think that is on record. And then the other thing which is important, which he said, is the issues of transparency, the issues of capping corruption, the issues of efficiency, and the issues of access. I think that is very, 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 very key. A conversation I had yesterday with some people, I said to them, you know, when you come from a small country like Eswatini, Eswatini at best has 1.3 million people. So at the end of the day, if you're talking about doing business, big business, you've got no choice. You've got to look outside. You look at Singapore, you look at Malta, you look at Seychelles, you look at Mauritius, all the small countries in the world. What they have done is that they have looked outside. But before they looked outside, they made sure that the systems in their country work. so that people come, because at the end of the day, if you've got 1.3 million people, I'm talking about technology now, you do not have the numbers to make business sense. So for you to make the billions, you need the billions from outside. So yeah, let me just contain myself before I get carried away. I did tell you though that I'm going to, because I didn't have the video like CG, so I'm going to tell you something about RSTP that connects to Maling. RSTP, in case you are not aware, is collaborating with the Ministry of Commerce to establish this thing called a one-stop shop. It's a one-stop shop office. It's at Nogwane. The one-stop shop, what it will do is that it will bring all the agencies, all the ministries under one roof, so that if I fly from Australia, I'm an Australian, I come, I want to do business in Eswatini, once I get to the estate, N01, I will not need to leave the estate. Home Affairs will be there, Commerce will be there, APA will be there, Home Affairs will be there. Everything that you require, it will be in that one-stop shop. The Taiwanese, the Asians, they call it a single window. We call it a one-stop shop. And ERS, by the way, will be part of this. CPE will be part of this. A couple of months ago, there was a team that went to Taiwan to discuss this matter. And RSTP, of course, was part of that delegation. Before I get carried away, let me move to ESCOM. ESCOM is going to talk about coverage, internet coverage in the country. As we delve into the transformative power of digital public infrastructure, and I must say that when I discussed with CG, I said to him, and he said to me, the segment that you are going to chair, I don't think he was saying it to entice me. He said it's the most critical one. It is the most critical one, because if you talk about public digital infrastructure, it is the highway that will determine whatever it is that you discuss. If you talk about e-commerce, you need public infrastructure. If you talk about any transaction that you will ever make, that you will ever do in the 21st century, you will need public infrastructure. Without the infrastructure, you might as well forget about any intervention that you want to bring about. So one sector, public infrastructure, one sector emerges as the backbone of this progress. It's the telco industry, which is where Umlangeni comes in. Today, we are privileged to have you, Ngosi, to discuss this. And I'm not going to waste time. I'm going to go straight to your question, Ngosi, which is very simple. Broadband connectivity is a foundational pillar of digital public infrastructure. Could you elaborate on the initiatives the Commission is implementing to ensure nationwide access to affordable and reliable broadband? Additionally, share your thoughts on your progress as a country in adopting and implementing digital IDs, another key contributor to nationwide acceleration of digitization. Loguti Andile Metula will come, and if Andile Metula has accumulated debt, how will you know that? Because Andile Metula, once he accumulates debt, he will then disappear and come back as someone else. How are we going to do it as a country? That is the issue of digital IDs. Over to you, Nkosi.
Siyabonga lo sesihlalweni lapho nduna tembuso ngingamkhohlwa na chairman lo ngumnakethu lomdzala la ngempili tawuzangibhense nangifika ekhaya. I don't know if I'm allowed to speak nangesiswatini, Chair.
It's allowed.
It's allowed. Okay. Perhaps I can start with the issue of e-connectivity. According to our operators, the country is actually covered by 96% of our mobile networks. Yepana ukhuluma nebantu on the ground bakhala nge-network ngala nangala nangala. So we are in engagements with the networks just to make sure we have those gap fillers. The challenge we do have, though, is self-inflicted, if I may call it that. Like South Africa, begahamba uhulumende ayokha RDP houses and not talk to ESCOM, which say increase your power generation because now you'll have so many people in this area. Likewise, in the kingdom, we go and build the Bombageni Dam. We move people from those areas to areas that had no one before, and therefore there was no network. So government will then provide roads, clinics, but not the infrastructure for communications. And that should actually be part of the project. Before there was no one there, so the networks had no responsibility to provide a network there. So then you can find that all of a sudden people are saying, we don't have network. Yet the networks, but we have actually deployed a network throughout the country. But we are going to probably have to work closer with government to ensure that when such happens, relocation of people, then everyone is aligned on what is going to happen. Perhaps let me start by just saying ESCOM was initially set up as a converged regulator looking after broadcasting, telecoms, and postal services. Hulumembe so ngathi siyagijima sengwe and found it fit to actually give us a bigger load where now we look after data protection as well as cyber security. Ngiyabonga nje makhelwane lapha utekete double data protection. Ngiyacela nje tonke nikaBhanet khona la letingakabhalisi tivele fastelweni bekunene. We do need everyone who processes personal information to be registered. But a lot of what we have done over the years as the Commission is really ensure that there is adequate broadband infrastructure in the kingdom. Some of the initiatives that we have actually embarked on is really to support government in your hand, which I think the Minister will highlight in her speech, where you really need broadband services for the Minister's initiative to work. We have done roughly around 3 key areas, which is improving access, as well as improving the quality of the broadband services and affordability. Affordability is a big subject. Everyone complains about data. Everyone complains it's expensive. And unfortunately, we are the only sector in the kingdom that's expected to reduce costs. Everyone else increases costs every day, every year, but our sector, everyone knows ayasehlise. Yet that very same sector uses the other services like electricity and petrol. So yeah, but that's not discussion for today. We have supported government a lot in terms of deploying this infrastructure in health facilities, in schools, now setting with the Minister of Education, UNDP, to ensure that that curriculum is digitized, and we will continue deploying that infrastructure. We have also worked a lot in improving the quality of service. You'll remember many years ago, you'll occasionally be losing network connectivity as you speak on the phone, and that was an issue. So we have provided support to upgrade the networks from 2G to 4G for all the operators in the kingdom. And we're happy to say now, everywhere in the kingdom we do have 4G connectivity. Unfortunately, that has brought other negative things around my customers, where now their data is seen as depleting faster. It's depleting faster because now we are using a faster highway. So what you were receiving in, say, 10 seconds, you're now receiving in 3 seconds, and as a result, you think now the networks are stealing your data, whereas it's actually not the case. It's because it's faster and therefore downloads faster. However, we have asked the networks to embark on education so that customers are aware why this is happening. Then there's obviously the issue of the affordability. Affordability, is relevant or relative. Unfortunately, we are a small country. means we have 1 million people to pay off this infrastructure deployed by. But we have actually significantly reduced a cost data by 80% over the last 5 years. So what then happens is when you reduce, people consume more. We reduce, people consume more. At some point, you were getting 7 gigs of internet data, 360 minutes and 90 SMSs, 400 Malangen. That is what is happening now. Whereas in 2018, for 100 Malangen, you were only able to get 250 megabytes. Now you get 7 gigabytes for the same amount. So we have actually done a lot in that space. Sibambisene now lama operators lesebenda now. And we have also introduced Konagele Tingudleni, where you have 15 gigs per month that is free you can use in any of the Tingudla areas. From Program Director, this is just a snippet. There's a lot that we've undertaken as a commission, working with our ministry and our service providers and other stakeholders to ensure that the digital divide is actually, we help with the digital divide and make sure that our country is move with the rest of the countries. On the issue of digital IDs, I'll be stealing the minister's thunder. It sits in her space. What is government doing in as far as digital IDs? Digital IDs will certainly help a lot in ERS in ensuring that umuntu nakangena vele ungena unguye nalokushona sideleza nje, that will be a thing of the past, because then when there's digital IDs, now fear up a border gate, just walk through this thing. It's maybe more face recognition. You go in, no queues. There's a lot. It's on the security side. But when you have digital IDs, security is enhanced, and therefore more service delivery, as well as the financial inclusion. Because when you have a digital ID, then there's not a lot that you need to do. Now you're bang and you phone a loan. With that, they know they can trust that document, and it's linked to a lot of information. Lehambelana nawe. Chair, given isikhathi sethu limited, ngicela kugcina lapho. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Ngos. You know, one of the things that ESCOM does, which is very difficult, is to balance things, the balancing act. Balancing act in the sense that the telcos have this expensive infrastructure that they have to pay. And then ESCOM at the same time is expected to protect them, and at the same time they're also expected to lower my prices. So it's very difficult. Them. But I don't know if Emaswati are noticing this very interesting thing that is happening. It's a perfect storm, CG. I'm referring to you because you are the one who made some of us fall in love with IT over 20 years ago as interns. What's happening is that, see what the ERS is doing. They are digitalizing. Malinga Ngale is talking about digital company registration. ESCOM, he touched on something very close to our heart as RSTP and the ministry's heart, government in your hand, which is going to collapse government into an application. Kama is going to, even though I'm stealing his thunder, he's going to talk about something very interesting, open banking. So what is happening is that the ecosystem, the innovation, the IT ecosystem, and my boss, Professor Motsa, has just started an AI academy at the university. When you bring all this from where those guys are, because all these elements, these important components are coming together. Mpogane, as we discuss the transformative impact of digital public infrastructure, it is impossible to overlook the pivotal role of the financial sector, which is your sector. The central bank has been at the forefront of this evolution. spearheading initiatives that are set to change the country's payment systems and enhance financial inclusion. You've launched the National Payment Switch project, which is very exciting, and congratulations on this achievement. We are delighted to have you, Mpogane. You will share, of course, your insights and on open banking, an exciting innovation that promises to reshape how businesses and consumers interact with financial systems. Now let's go to your question. Open banking is widely regarded as a game changer for the financial ecosystem. Could you tell us more about the plans to roll out open banking, the open banking system in the country, here in Eswatini? I want you to start by explaining the benefits of open banking to businesses and consumers and how it aligns with the broader goals of financial inclusion and economic development.
All right. Good morning to the distinguished guests and, of course, to our audience that is participating. I do hope the slides will appear behind me, but I will be working from my own copy of them. Open banking, I think I have some technical definitions there, which maybe I'll get to them now, but the concept is easy. So we've just, this morning, in fact, just deployed or launched our fast payments on the payment switch. What is fast payments? Fast payments says that providers, whether they are banks or non-banks, can pay one another instantly at all times of the day, every day of the week. That is what we've deployed. What follows then after the fast payments is a module called open banking. And maybe an easy way to think of open banking is, I'll get to the definitions just now, is you have a bank account, or it could be a digital wallet, you transact on it, you initiate certain services, whether it's a payment, etc. Open banking says, whose data is that? So if I'm interacting with my account, my bank can see that I have all these sorts of transactions, I normally do this and that. Whose data is that? Is that the bank's data or is it my data? Open banking says that's my data and that I have the right to give others access to that data. That's the open part of the banking. So now to delve into those definitions there a bit, I'll take the second one just to assist us. But it's an innovation that allows the secure, it's important, I do have SCCOM, it is a secure sharing of financial data, allowing third-party developers, we tend to call them third-party providers, but TPPs for short, and financial institutions themselves to access a consumer's and utilize the consumer's data or account to initiate transactions. So that's from a definition point of view. If we move to the next slide, maybe just to put it in context, we will talk how it will look in Eswatini in a moment. It should be the three circle. Oh, okay. Yes. So I just want to put it in context that what we are developing is open banking, which is a subset of what may be called open finance and the broader one, which is open data. I do want to sort of restrict the discussion to open banking, but I do want us to know that it exists within a bigger umbrella. But what we are deploying is open banking, not necessarily the open finance, which goes into other sectors, and open data, which is all-encompassing. But from an open banking point of view, all the providers in the country will then avail data, that is account data and or payment initiation service to outside players, so players outside that system. If we can go to the next slide, just to show how the flow is, and then we can maybe delve into the use cases and how to look from a project point of view. So on the right-hand side of the slides, these are the participants. You can call them the players who provide either bank accounts or wallets that are in the market. So I've called them fast payment participants. So in the country, we presently have 8 of them. So it is 4 banks and 4 non-banks. Those are the fast payment providers. So what we as the switch, are somewhere in the middle. We'll be providing an open banking module, which has APIs, which is just a way for the different systems to speak to one another. And these APIs we are providing to the service providers on the left. So these can be fintechs, well, any type of fintechs, and it can even be the participants themselves. And what happens is, in essence, a customer will opt in and allow a third-party app. Let's say it's a budgeting app. So if you want to control your finances or how you want to see how much you're spending on entertainment, savings, this, that, you can onboard to a budget app. So what you would do, you would allow the budget app to access your accounts. You need to accept. It will give it terms and conditions, and you'd allow it to access your bank account through the open banking. That will then interact with your bank account, pull your data, and give you a view of, for instance, what your budgeting spending pattern looks like. This is now a player that's outside the banking. So that's the innovation side. That's the service provider. And there are various types of those services that are possible. So if we look at the 2 categorizations that we are expecting to have in terms of Eswatini in the next slide, there are 2 components to our open banking. One is account information service provider. So that's just the example I gave. So that could be a budgeting app. It could be an aggregator that just pulls all your banking, your wallet account data together into one place so that you see your banking data. There are various other forms, but I just chose some of the simpler one. From a payments point of view, it is interesting in the context of today's discussion. From a payment initiation service provider, this is where you'll be able to touch points with things like e-commerce gateways, because they are sitting outside, but they can initiate payments to merchants on a real-time basis. So this is where then the touch point is. Of course, you'd also have bill payments. So from the various bill service providers that exist in the market, they can integrate with this to initiate the paying of bills so that the market is a bit more open in terms of, one, consuming that account or your financial data, and of course from initiating payments. That's the innovation. In terms of the rollout, there are 2 components to it. There's a legal side to this, and there's also the technology. From a legal point of view, we have our recently enacted National Payment Systems Act of 2023, which does enable this. But we also have regulations that are operationalizing this that are still being worked on through the Ministry of Finance's office. And these are the legal enablements. And from a technology point of view, on the switch, we are now starting this phase to basically put together the requirement and then deploy to the market. I think perhaps I won't go to the stage of giving hard timelines because we're at the point of basically blueprinting and setting the scope of the solution such that we can then tie down when it will be delivered. But that's the phase that begins in January next year. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mpogani. One of the things that Mpogani is talking about at the center of open banking is innovation. And when you talk about innovation, you are indirectly or directly referring to young people. And one of the things that we are good at doing as a country, especially in this continent of ours, is collecting data. We are very good at collecting data. I'll tell you where we are not good at. We are not good at utilizing that data to empower our young people. I'll tell you this, I work at RSTP. One of the biggest frustrations that our young people have, the startups in this country, in South Africa, in Mozambique, and anywhere in the continent, it is access to data. When you are a startup and you do not have access to data, you do not have a startup. So it's a conversation that we may need to have someday, the issue of data, the issue of access to data. We are collecting a lot of data, but we are not sharing it with our young people. I know SCOM is not listening to this. So we are not making use of the data, because for the kids, to perfect the startups, to perfect the solutions, because as we said, we are a small country of 1.3 million people. They can't sell these solutions to 1.3 million people. Even if they sell to all of us, they're not going to make money. They're not going to make the billions that we've been talking about. They can only make these billions if we sell to the world. But to sell to the world, you will need data to perfect that innovation and then take it out. So that is me, the teacher now. That is me now, the shipping manager who also drinks. I don't know, main program director, if there are questions on Slido. I don't like Slido for one thing, it's too transparent. Sometimes people ask difficult questions and you start stammering in front of people, in front of the whole audience. But I'm going to pick the questions. The difficult ones we will answer privately.
You can just join me on stage.
Oh, sure. Okay. This is easy, Kam. This is for you. Is the open banking limited to Eswatini's banks, or they link internationally based on the person registration, e.g. national ID?
Okay, so it's open to banks that, well, not banks, so I call them participants, so both banks and non-banks, and therefore...
Articulation is impeccable. Actually, it's here. But your articulation is impeccable. I'm noticing that with all these initiatives being implemented, or rather in the pipeline, that is open banking, payment initiation and account aggregation, CPE is in a way headed towards the creation of a blockchain. That's very true. Well, where all these systems from the various entities will be interacting and thus creating a public ledger of transactions and data. You will have to help me, because I think there are some questions that are coming in. I just want even the audience to see. So that it's not like it's me asking the difficult question. Okay. Does this mean the CPE is laying down the foundation to a cryptocurrency or the digital Lilangen? This is difficult.
Chair, you had said the difficult questions were private.
Okay.
But I think in the context, we have what are the payments that are existing with traditional technology. So, for example, what we're using with your fast payments, open banking, using existing, fast payments, APIs, technology that most of the, certainly the IT professionals are using. In solution. So we do keep a touch point on it, but perhaps the existing ones are not yet a full-on step into that world. But we are aware of both, and we continue to investigate and work on both.
Thank you. This marks the end, Bogana. You will not be answering questions anymore, but I do want to thank you, you wonderful audience, for being attentive. And I do want to thank my panelists for being such wonderful panelists. And of course, the fact that these conversations, I believe, shouldn't end here. We should continue engaging and coming together to perfect this ecosystem of ours. And again, Central Bank, congratulations on the national payment switch. I think it was long overdue. And do banking. Thank you so much, Ndobeko.
Thank you, Dr. Metula, alongside your panelists for such an insightful panel discussion. Another round of applause for our panelists, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Ministers, distinguished guests, we have a slight change to our program. We will be just moving on to our keynote address. The Minister has another engagement she does need to attend. So we will then resume our program right after this. We are about to have our keynote address from the Honorable Minister of ICT, Savannah Mazia, who has been a champion of Eswatini's digital transformation. Her address will provide us with a broader perspective in the role of ICT in shaping our economy and driving national development. To ensure that I follow protocol, may I please invite the Principal Secretary of the Minister of ICT, Mr. Pesheya Dube, who will formally introduce our Minister. Thank you, Mr. Dube.
Thank you very much, Program Director, Honorable Minister of Finance, Commissioner General of Eswatini Revenue Authority and your management, representatives of the private sector and public sector, captains of industry, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is always an honor for me to introduce a visionary leader, an extraordinary achiever, and a trailblazer who is determined to reshape the digital landscape of Eswatini, the Honorable Minister for Communications and Technology, Senator Savannah Mazia. From the moment the Honorable Minister took office just over a year ago, her impact has been nothing short of transformative and amazing. Under her captainship, Eswatini has witnessed unprecedented strides in digital innovation and ICT development. Her belief in Eswatini's potential to become a hub of digital excellence in the African region, despite our modest size, ignites a new wave of confidence and ambition. One of her ambitious pursuits is her drive to build a resilient and robust digital public infrastructure. The Minister recognizes that the foundation of a thriving digital economy lies in creating systems that are not only innovative, but also secure, scalable, and inclusive. From enhancing broadband connectivity to pioneering an e-government platforms under the Government in Your Hand agenda, her efforts come with a great hope for an improved public service delivery. Her leadership has been marked by an international focus in forging partnerships with global leaders in the ICT industry. The historic signing of the Memorandum of Understanding with the United Arab Emirates, a global leader in ICT earlier this year, is one of the examples. This partnership will propel significant advancements, particularly in the Government in Your Hand agenda, driving Eswatini's digital strategy. The outcomes of this collaboration are already visible, from capacity building initiatives in digital education, cybersecurity, and coding. The Honorable Minister's global mindset and forward-thinking approach positions the Kingdom of Eswatini as a country ready to compete in the world stage. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the Honorable Minister for Communications, Information, Communications and Technology, a true champion of progress, innovation, and collaboration, to the stage. I thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Honorable Minister of Finance, all distinguished guests, allow me to observe all protocol and to thank you so very, very much, Commissioner, for inviting us to your good and wonderful arena. I must just tell you, I'm going to be using this arena a lot. So just keep invoicing us. Thank you so much. I'm so proud of the work that you're doing. I'm listening to the symposium and the people that are talking, and you know, your team is very amazing. As I walked in the door, they were all very kind and generous to me, and I think you're very lucky to have such a team. One of the things that I've been thinking about since I heard that I was invited to come and speak here today, Honorable Minister, is what is being discussed here today came to me, and I was talking about the issue of what is it that I'd love to be able to have us think about before we leave today, is that everything we're doing today is really talking about us creating the future that we want for ourselves, right? I mean, one of the things that we challenged and have struggles with in this continent is sometimes we're waiting for someone to come and save us, someone from somewhere. And what we're doing here today and going forward is really looking at how can we create our own future and how can we customize and curate that future for our own people. So that excites me, that makes me feel very hopeful about being in Eswatini. I also have been thinking about the issue of collaboration. One of the things that we need to really do very, very well is collaborate. We may not be aware of it, but we're already in the future. We're already working in the area of AI. We're already working in the area of ICT in a very impactful manner and in a way that's going to change lives. You talk about smart borders, you talk about all these other various things that we're doing. We're really changing our economy, really moving things around and making things really effective and making things convenient for our people. The thing that is really lacking and the thing that really needs to push all of us who work in government and in the private sector is how do we bring convenience to everybody in the country at every level. You know, what I hear every time is who's senior in this government department who can help me make it happen. We've got to kind of get away from that. We've got to get to the point where everybody has equal footing. And technology gives us that transparency, accountability, and that equal footing. And so what we're doing here today, being able to have companies register and have, you know, half a day, is part of that equalizing a society and not having to know someone special in a government department or in a ministry. You know, as a society, as the world, we cannot live without technology. It's no longer a luxury, it's really something we have to have. It's something that we need to be proactive about it. As I mentioned earlier, we need to be able to curate our own future in this particular area. We also need to be able to understand that if we are in front and if we're the ones who are creating, then we don't have to be able to consume other people's technologies that actually may end up enslaving us and actually putting us in a position where we're not growing in the direction we'd like to grow in. I have a few bits of information. It's kind of useless, but it's interesting. There's a global study that looks at what is connectivity, and it's given a close second to water. So water we cannot live without, and connectivity and technology is a close second, which is very interesting because that means that we've come into a world where every single person from every single corner of the world has to have technology. We've been told that on average, we are on the phone 5 hours and 22 minutes a day. I mean, we have 8 hours for sleeping, Minister. So if it's 5 hours and 22 minutes, I don't know what work is being done. They also talk about us checking our phones 144 times a day, just checking. I mean, I'm sure I'm seeing a few of you already looking and saying, putting down the tie. Not me. But I mean, this is interesting information because it tells you that we are wanting to stay connected and we're depending on technology. So our future really needs to be part of that connectivity. And the convenience and accountability it will give us as government. You know, we talk about the issue of corruption, we talk about the issue of land, talk about the issue of all the things that are really unfair, that really do not move us forward and give us that first world feel. So when we talk about technology, it really becomes the thrive and it becomes the engine room for us to be able to work and be able to give people dignity. You know, one of the things we're talking about, and I'm glad to see, or when I said it in the office when I first came to you and I said, it's government in your hand. It was such a, you know, nebulous situation. But now we're at the point where everybody's talking about it. And actually what we're doing here is already at government in your hand. We really have it. All we are looking at is integrating it, and we're working very hard with our local partners and global partners. One of the things that's really, really interesting, and this is why I'm so continuously excited about government in your hand, is the convenience and the shortening of time. I'll give you an example of something that the PS and I are dealing with currently. A tender went out for us to do an audit for a particular company in one of our institutions. The tender, we put everything together in February, I remember, with the PS and the team to say, this is what we're looking for them to be able to look into these areas. It was awarded last Wednesday. Now, what does that mean, Minister? It means for a good 10 months, we've not been able to move. And so when we bring in technology, when we bring in things like government in your hand, when we bring in registration of companies, when we bring in smart borders, when we bring in registration of a variety of things, when we bring in the convergence of every single service that government offers and remove some of the human interactions that really are about stopping, or maybe personal interest, maybe capacity is not there, whatever the issue is, we start to move faster as government. We start to be able to really attract the kind of businesses that we want. But also we are able to grow our small businesses, to make them middle-sized, to make our middle-sized businesses larger-sized businesses, and then employment comes to bear. And so this example continues to make me understand why the technology and the work of ICT is so critical. When I look at your plans and your pillars of seamless registration, of transformation declarations and integrated payments and smart borders, all of this really culminates in a country that is economically focused, in a country that really wants to grow its economy, but also in a country that's serious about the future. We cannot run away from the fact that we will be a technology-driven country. So how can we be able to collaborate together to get to the point where it's a win-win? I'm also really excited, maybe is the word, to be able to see the issue of digitization. I'm excited to be able to see how our young people, you know, we are RSTP, the active, to get them involved. Our biggest drive is to ensure that if we are creating a future, there'll be more in that future than some of us, Minister. I mean, you know how that goes. So I'm trying to get us to collaborate as government, especially in this space, and not work in silos. So I was saying to the Commissioner, Minister, I really want us to have a relationship where we're continuously working together, even with your ministry. I mean, if someone, the whole point of government in your hand is whatever service you want from government, whether it's a smart border service, whether it is a passport, whether it's the issue of applying for a birth certificate, every single thing you want, you apply for online. You pay for online. You're ready to go and apply somewhere and then go somewhere else and then go to the revenue office to get a receipt and then send in line to me. And you apply for online and then it's delivered to you. Whether it's in your home for a small fee, we don't do anything for free, or to the nearest Ngundla or post office or library or any other institution that we've negotiated a relationship with. This is critical because when you think of the time, a study was done in South Africa, that it takes a person 4.6 days to get a passport, line standing. How much money is being lost? How much money are employers losing? How much money is that person losing, going back and forth because something's a mistake, someone was offline or whatever it is. So we want to be able to be part of that supporting our transformation. But the central bank issue also interests me because I think the effort's there. You know, I'm not going to talk about what's going to happen with blockchain as far as money is concerned. But I can tell you that we, as ICT, want to use blockchain for security of information. We want to be able to use blockchain for payments because some things we just can't avoid. We want to be able to use blockchain also for teaching, you know, for integrating AI as part of the learning process. And so our part of our planning is, as we're putting government in your hand, there's a lacing on top of blockchain that gives us cybersecurity, that gives you what we refer to as military safety in information. So we would love to be able to work with the CBE to be able to see how we work together in those areas. We did an assessment, Minister, of digital readiness. Tells us that we're on the right path. Yes, we're at a low positioning or 2.6, but we want to be able to look at ourselves in 3 years' time again and see where are we going. And we can guarantee you, slow government or not, that we'll be at a much better number. So we're rolling out fiber optic in the country. That's important as our backbone. We're expanding bandwidth. That's very important. We are implementing and revamping our microwave network, and we are really enhancing our connectivity. And we're also rolling out community programs, and we're also ensuring Tinkundla and other centers are connected. We really want to ensure that even schools and clinics are connected. We want to be able to say, we will bring into the country a digital ID. And in that ID will be all your information, from your text number, if you own a company, the company number, to your ID number, but also your medical information that's encrypted for you to be able to, when you go to a hospital, you don't do the same thing we've all done at every doctor's office, is to go to that form again and say the same information. That the ideal what we want to be able to create, Minister, and everybody here, is to create that ID that is biometrically driven, that can be able to authenticate your information, but have you be able to have all your information there, wherever you are in the world, you'll be able to have that coding. We also want to be able to have, coding that you don't have to have a business card, for example. You just give your person your code and be able to see all your information when you're traveling around the world. We also want to be able to ensure that all our hospitals, when you walk in the door, are able, as an end delivery, be able to tell you who you are, what you're doing, and what your medication is, so that they don't give you the same medication, and be able to see what medication are you taking it effectively, and are you following the regime. We want to be able to bring in other technology, fuel management technology. One of the biggest issues we have is how fuel is being utilized in the country, and fleet management. How is our fleet as government being managed? We want to be able to bring that in. And asset management, Minister. How do we manage the assets of government, and how do we ensure that they're always safely managed, and who's managing what? And so these things are part of what government in your hand is. But there's a bigger picture. The bigger picture is, it doesn't matter that there's 1.3 million people. That's a mindset problem. What matters is what you do with that 1.3 million people. And I think my acting CEO of RSTP mentioned earlier, Minister, and everybody here, that we look to the continent for our growth. We look to the world for our growth. That 1.3 million people is looking towards 1.3 billion people in the continent, and then a world of 8.8 billion people in the next 20 years. If we can be the people that say we will be three things. We will be the best digitized country in the world, especially for our part of the world. We will be the country where anything in the ICT space, whether it's proof of concept, the company that we're going to be launching next year, which you know about, we bring in these big global players, and they partner with us. We then can become a leading financial services hub in the continent with that marriage with ICT. We then can use that for our food security, and also being a food supplier to ourselves and the world. So all of a sudden, we have this area where healthcare can become digitized. We can now have the best in the world treating our people. So I think when we think about technology, when we think about digitization, let's not only think of the 144 times we check our phone, the 5.2 hours, 22 hours that we spend on our telephones in a day. Let's think of a world that's so very different for us, but a world that's very exciting, and one that's going to give us a global position. When I travel around the world now, I say I'm Eswatini, and people kind of ask me 3 times. Before I was minister, I'd say Swaziland, maybe Switzerland. Let's be known for the best in ICT. That will drive this country as a leader in areas that we are talking about today. So that what you are doing, sir, you can now sell to the continent and the world and make more money outside of the tax base. I thank you all for this time, and I hope that as we digitize in Eswatini, we thrive and we live a life that is totally based on making everybody's life in this country better, and making everybody's life in this country more effective. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, for that very, very inspiring speech. I'm sure everyone in the room can attest that we will all walk away very inspired by your remarks today. Not only that, you have called upon us to create our own future, curate our own future, but highlighting how the dependency of connectivity is there. We're also equally as excited that everyone, and that you are seeing that everyone is playing their role in driving digitalization forward. Additionally, Minister, thank you for sharing the ministry's ambitions that you're clearly outlining are not just dreams, reality, and we all have our part to play. I'd like to call upon the Commissioner General to the stage, who will assist us with handing over some small tokens of appreciation that we have for both the Minister of ICT and the Minister of Finance, so that we can release both ministers and continue with our program. CG and Karen, please join me on stage.
Thank you, Program Director. May I invite the Minister, ICT, for the small token of appreciation up here.
Always happy with bribery and corruption, Minister. This is so wonderful. Thank you. So kind. Thank you so much. So much. Wow.
Minister of Finance, kindly walk up to the podium for your gift. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner General, for that gift handover to our esteemed guests today. Ladies and gentlemen, we will then resume our program and will allow or release our ministers to continue with their activities for the day. Ladies and gentlemen, our third and final panel sees us shift the spotlight to the human element of digitalization. We are going to get to hear from ERS how they plan to ready their employees as well as clients alike. The next discussion is going to touch on ERS's change methodology, its efforts to enhance digital dexterity, and what strategies we're looking to implement to enhance client experience. We will also get to hear a very, very powerful testimonial from one of our clients, Montigny, represented by Sebenele Matsinane, who will share what Montigny's experience has been as being part of one of our flagship programs, Authorized Economic Operator Program. He'll also tell us a little bit about a project that Montigny, alongside ERS, has implemented that has transformed the way that they do their trade declarations. But without giving too much detail, can I call upon our moderator for this panel discussion, Pearl Dlamini, who is the director for the Programs Office, Lindelwe Makagula, who is our ERS director for Human Capital, as well as Ricardo Kruger, who is our director for Client Services. Sebenele Matsinane from Montigny, the Group Tax Manager. Please, can you also join me on stage? Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to remind you about our Slido platform, which is available to take on your questions and submissions. I would then hand over to Pearl to moderate this session. Thank you, Pearl.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Program Director. Honorable Ministers in absentia, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, greetings to all of you. As mentioned, my name is Pearl Dlamini. I'll be moderating this session. The thing is, we have just heard about the ERS digital ambitions, the 4 programs: seamless registration, pre-populated declarations, our integrated payment, and the smart border. We also heard about the digital infrastructure from our difference between the technical side of change and the people's side. What normally happens is that most organizations, they fail, their approaches, they fail because they ignore the people's side of change or the people's side of things. Research has shown us that if you want our changes to be successful, these 4 digital ambitions to be successful, what we need to do as the ERS and as organizations is that we need to implement these 2 systems, the technology side and the people side, simultaneously, so that we get maximum value from our initiatives. Normally, our technical side is normally delivered through a project management methodology. At the ERS, we are currently using the Agile project management approach. And then our people side is normally delivered through the change management approach, which I will share in the next slide. So what normally happens is that in the people side of space, people normally ignore the change management side of things, pushing work, pushing projects, and that's it. So in our ERS digital change, the 4 programs, we now have these projects ongoing, but we also then have a change management methodology supporting us to make sure that we work with this journey along with our employees and our teams. So without change management, we will not be able to get the expected outcomes from these initiatives. Change management will make sure that we are able to sell the change vision. We are able to win the hearts and the minds of the people. We are able to be honest. I'm afraid of digitalization, and I guess even here, with these fears. And the only way of dealing with these fears is that we need to engage our people, especially on the case for change. Why are we changing? Why are we bringing this change? What is the purpose? What if we don't do anything? What can go wrong? And what does this change mean to us? What does this seamless registration mean to you as our clients? What does this smart border mean to you as our traders? What should you do to get ready for this smart border that is coming, for this integrated payment that Toby, our CFO, spoke about? So it's mainly about making sure that we change the mindset and the behavior, because without a change in behavior, we will not be able to get to where we want to go as the ERS. So that is our change management approach. It's a 3-phase approach where we prepare for change, we manage for change, and then we reinforce change. And then it is anchored by the outcome approach. In the outcome approach, we say whenever we deliver our changes, we have to make sure that there's always awareness of the need for the change. And then when there's awareness for the need for the change, people will want to align themselves with these changes. And they will be desirous to support these changes and to participate in them. And then we then give them the knowledge on how to change. Once we've done that, given them the knowledge on how to change, because most of you for sure are saying, okay, as small businesses, we don't have ERP system, so what will be happening to us? They need this knowledge. So as the ERS, we need to share this information and the knowledge with you. But another important one, coming from our outcome change management approach, is the ability. Do people have the necessary skills, behaviors? Do they have the ability to perform in this changed environment, to excel in this environment? Are they willing to align themselves? How are we going to help them to make sure that they have those that ability? And then the last one is on reinforcement, because if we do not reinforce, we normally want to go back to our comfort zone. So we need to sustain these changes. We will be burning those old bridges as the ERS. So that is on a high level our change management methodology at the ERS. I will start with the panel. Let me first introduce my panelists. So as I introduce my panelists, next to me I've got Lindelwe Makagula, who is our HR director, HC. Now they've transformed from HR to HC. Maybe she'll share that a bit as well. Lindelwe will be speaking on the internal stakeholders' readiness as we move into this journey. And then next to Lindelwe, I have Mr. Ricardo Kruger, who is the Director Client Services. He will also then be touching on the external stakeholders' readiness in this digitalization journey. And next to Ricardo, we've got our esteemed guest, partner as the ERS. We've got Mr. Sebenele Matsinane. Sebenele is from Montigny. He's the Group Tax Manager. He'll also be sharing from us, giving testimonies on their experience, as he is one of the first authorized economic operator beneficiary. So Lindelwe, I will start with you. So as director human resources, Lindelwe, from a human capital perspective, can you tell us how is the ERS actually preparing for digitalization?
Thank you, moderator, for your question. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and all distinguished guests. The Human Capital Division has developed a strategy to enable the delivery of the ERS digital ambitions. One of the key projects within the strategy is a project named Digital Dexterity. Now, digital dexterity refers to our desire and ability as employees to be able to embrace existing and new technologies so that we are able to improve our work outputs. So through this project, the ERS is aiming to enhance our capabilities and skills as employees to better embrace the technologies and the digitalization journey that we are embarking on as an organization. The key milestones within the project, firstly, is to define our ERS culture. You have touched a lot on how if we don't change our behaviors, then we are not going to achieve what we seek to achieve. So we will be defining what the ERS digitalized culture looks like, what behaviors do we have within that culture, what does the environment feel like? How are we supporting our organizational innovativeness, customer centricity, as well as creating a conducive working environment for employees so that they are able to deliver what we seek to deliver through digitalization. Once this culture has been defined, ladies and gentlemen, we will then to continue with assessing where we are as an organization. We have done about 2 digital maturity assessments already, so we have ratings which we have used to inform us on what initiatives to then come up with. Those initiatives are going to enable us to close the gaps between where we are now and where we want to be as far as our digital culture is as an organization. Also within this project, what we have done is that we have used the competency-based HR management framework outputs, which has defined our competencies for all employees as well as leadership. So we have what our digital competencies look like to determine now where are we as employees. So we'll be conducting assessments that will check how far are we from having all the digital competencies and capabilities that we'll require. From there, what will follow is the development and continuous learning, a journey which has already commenced through just us at the moment developing ourselves on how to utilize the already existing tools that we have. For example, there are a lot of tools that are available, your Copilot, your Microsoft Planning. How do I use these as an employee to be more effective in how I do my job? And also, some of the learnings that are taking place is the development of business acumen across the organization to make sure that every ERS employee has sufficient knowledge about the business that we do. And also to make sure that our officers throughout the organization have enough knowledge to be able to deliver services to our clients, whether within customs or within domestic taxes. So we have a development program that is working towards developing revenue officers. The project will also assess the impact of automation and digitalization to our existing processes. We did mention some changes, for example, seamless registration, integrated payments. as these changes take place, they are impacting our processes that are already within the organization. So we'll be assessing what is changing, what does the current process look like, what will it look like in the future, how will the roles be impacted, do we still require the same number of positions, the same number of incumbents, how do we prepare the employees who are doing these roles to now embrace the changes and be developed also to be able to work within this automated environment. So that would be the key significant changes that are taking place. And you have rightfully highlighted change management is key. So we are using our change management processes throughout as we progress with this project.
Wow, so much is being done. But Lindele, now let's touch on the employees. What is the impact of this digitalization journey we're talking about on employees? Remember, some of us, we fear digitalization. And some of us actually may think, does it mean Bryce will be laying us off? What will be?
One we are already experiencing, as mentioned, continuous learning. And it's not just for the journey, it is now going to be our work of life as employees and continuous development for us as employees. Also, with this journey comes now the initiatives that we are putting in place to support us as employees to be able to embrace change better, because you have placed, for example, a fear of laying out, which is why our change management is key, because we need to alleviate those fears by creating the desire for the change and making sure that we all understand the change. Our roles are changing, so we need to be equipped with skills on how to work within those roles. How do I use these automations and this AI now to deliver the services that I was delivering better? It is not saying that now because what I was doing has been automated, then I need to be laid off. It is saying because it has been automated, the automation is there to make me work more efficiently and to make my role be more impactful in the organization. So there will, yes, be restructuring of roles, which is why we are saying there needs to be change management and continuous engagement as we progress with the journey. But the change management aspect, as we do all these projects and implementations, will be very key. And this will also be supported by our employee engagement initiatives, which every leader within the organization has been mandated to make sure that they carry out our employee engagement initiatives, as well as all the positive experience projects that we have within the organization. Also, it's worth noting that digitalization and automation brings about the necessary tools for hybrid working, for me to be able to deliver my work anywhere within the organization, within the continent even, because you can see that others are even delivering from other countries. So we also now as ERS need to be optimizing our processes and our policies to ensure that we are ready to embrace this journey, and also to make sure that our existing performance management model is supportive of a more digitalized environment that has a hybrid work model, for instance. So those are the highlights that I would say are impacting our employees.
Thank you, Lindele. Here you go, ERS staff. None of us will be laid off. There's so much support coming from the HC office. So we will be looking forward, Lindele, to you engaging us. Mr. Kruger, you're the Director Client Services, looking after external engagement, external clients, our external stakeholders. So, Mr. Kruger, from the client perspective, how will you ensure that our external stakeholders walk this journey with us? How are you going to prepare them ahead? Because this is in your scorecard, my brother.
Thank you very much, Paul. I think, from a client perspective, I must say that this is going to be where the biggest challenge is actually going to be. This is where the ERS is actually going to need to put in quite a lot of effort. One of our values as the ERS is building relationships. And I think at this point in time, you know, the ambitions that we have and the rate of change has put in actually, I'd say, more demand on us doing something towards those relationships, because it doesn't serve our purpose for us to deliver all these wow products when the people for whom we're actually delivering them for are not on board, or basically maybe we are still at a point where they see us as an enemy, or they see us as someone that they need to run away from. So yes, the rate of change that has been happening inside of the ERS has placed that demand on us, and we've actually taken that up by also positioning ourselves to continue to actually explore more ways of building those relationships. One of them, you'll remember that we moved from being an authority to a service. And the reason that we did that is that we are saying that for us to enjoy this change, we need to build a relationship. We need to come together. We need to be on the same page with our clients. And one of the ways that you build strong relationships is continuous engagement and communication. You will have noted that over the last couple of years, the ERS has actually intensified its engagement programs, whereby we are really going out there. We've restructured ourselves and we've built the necessary capacity and expertise to engage. We've also expanded the platforms through which we engage with our clients. You'll see that our social media pages are quite abuzz with all the changes that we are bringing about, whereby we are sharing, in relationship building, no communication. You can never over-communicate. And that is the principle that we have taken on as the ERS to say, let's communicate. And we communicate proactively even as we are coming up with these ideas, as we're coming up with these concepts. So we have entered into something that we call procreation for some of the programs, where some initiatives we feel like we cannot run with them as the ERS. Let's first engage with the people who we feel will be most impacted. So we build those forums and we actually go out and engage before we then proceed with then working towards implementing that. But even at the point of then implementing a product, we make it a point that we go out and we engage with our clients as much as possible. And maybe something that I should mention is that the manner in which we communicate has also changed. Instead of us just throwing out a broad message, we are trying to be very specific. So we use segmentation quite a lot, where we've segmented our clients. At the moment, we're working with about 6 different segments, in appreciating that clients have actually got different needs and that they understand things differently and that the change is actually going to impact us differently. So as the ERS, we are alive to that, and we are saying that let's actually go out and understand our clients. Let's understand how these changes are impacting them. Let's craft messages that are going to be specific to them, that they'll be able to understand, and then go out there and communicate using channels that will be most effective in getting the message across. Another approach is in the relationship building is partnering with some business formations. For instance, your business Eswatini, your First Speak, your commercial Amadota, tax practitioners, and a number of other groupings. We've really built very good relationships, and I'm confident in saying that because I know Nati is here. And if I'm lying, I know that he'll call me out. We know him that he's very popular for that. But those relationships have helped us a lot in getting the messages across. So it's not just about ERS and the client, but we are saying that let's co-own all of this here, and let's all be on the same boat, and let's all understand that this year, at the end of the day, is about benefiting every one of us. It's not just about the ERS improving the efficiencies of its processes, but it's also about making things easier for the client. So it's basically just building those relationships, communicating, and extensively being out there, and also positioning ourselves to be available to our clients. We've restructured the organization so that every touch point is now managed under one division. We have the CRM function, which has been enhanced. Previously, it used to look after our top 200 clients. It now looks after our top 2,000 clients, and we've build capacity around those CRMs. We've also enhanced our contact center and enhanced a number of touch points so that even you as a client, if there's something that you don't understand, instead of you going to social media and picking up false information, you now have easy access to the ERS, and in that way you are able to actually get the correct information and correct advice, and you are able to actually engage us and even give us ideas on how you think this year can actually be improved. So in a nutshell, that is how we've structured ourselves or positioned ourselves to move along with our clients.
We look forward, Ricardo, to those engagements from your office. On another note, Ricardo, how will you ensure that our valued clients and key partners, especially those present here today, realize optimal value from this digitalization agenda?
Thank you, Paul. So, yeah, for us, the relationship is not just about us throwing out information, but we need to understand what our clients need. We need to, at the end of the day, we need to start with the clients. Before we come up with an initiative, we need to understand what is the pain point. So that is another journey that we've embarked on. Earlier on, I mentioned that we segmented our clients. We're currently working with about 6 segments, and we continuously use data and facts to understand each of those segments to say what is it that is a pain point to them, or what is it that they would actually wish of the ERS as they want to think, or they're working towards improving their compliance. And we are continuously improving that model. We currently initiated a project to say how can we enhance the segmentation project or enhance the segmentation system so that we are able to even go further and investigate what the value propositions are for each of the segments. And it's those value propositions that inform ERS to say, should we automate this particular process, or maybe we should prioritize the other process. So everything that we do shouldn't be about ERS sitting and thumb-sucking or imagining what our clients need. Our programs or our plans need to be geared to what has already been established through facts and figures to be a pain point or a need to our clients. So with that in place, the more that we improve that approach, the more that we improve that system, you'll find that we get to a point whereby we can realistically, or we can accurately anticipate what our clients are likely to need in the next 6 months. And we can already start putting in place programs and putting in place plans to say that we know that that is where our clients are going to be, that is what they're going to need. Therefore, let's prioritize that, and we are able to actually invest our efforts or the resources that we have towards what actually matters to the clients. So for us, that is what's most important. It shouldn't be about ERS dictating to the clients to say that this is what we think needs to be done, or this is the direction that we think we need to move in, but it actually should be the clients who are informing ERS. But we need to be able to position ourselves and put in place systems and mechanisms that will provide us with that information so that we are relevant and we understand and appreciate our client needs at any point in time. So the more that we improve that, Paul, we will get to a point whereby everything that we do, whether it's capacity building or we are automating, everything that we do will be something that our clients actually need at that point in time. Therefore, we are actually addressing an existing need or an existing pain point to the client. And we're guaranteed of delivering value in that way.
Thank you, Ricardo. Thank you, our ERS panelists. Now we will hear it directly from our valued partner and client, Montigny, a leader in the forestry sector and a proud member of our AEO program. Mr. Matsinane, welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Could you please tell us about Montigny's experience in the AEO program? How has it helped your organization enhance its operations and trade efficiency? Additionally, Matsinane, I would like to know, to hear about your customs connectivity solution and how it's optimizing your engagement with the ERS.
Thank you. Maybe on a lighter note, I just want to start off by thanking this very same institution that made me. I worked for ERS for 7 years. They took me to Germany, and for that, I'll always remain eternally grateful. I'm saying that because I never got the chance to say thank you. Okay, coming back to your question. The AEO program. Okay, we are proud members. We've been accredited by ERS. So we've really seen wonders. Okay, as you all know, we're a timber producing company, exporting trucks that are supposed to cross the border like per day on average. You're talking about 120 trucks crossing the border every day, 24/7. So there were like bottlenecks like at the border, transporters, they would now and again charge us standing time, like at the border. So to address those bottlenecks, we came to SRA. We came to SRA, and they told us about this AEO program where we registered, and we undergone there was like a rigorous audit that took nearly 2 years for us to qualify. So it didn't just fall from the sky. There were like serious audits, auditing like our business processes, everything, checking something like the segregation of duties, business processes, like everything, within the Montigny group. So eventually we're happy that we got it. But what we've seen there's been like a quick turnaround time. Quick turnaround time, we don't literally, we don't queue at the border. We just pass. For us, Oshuk, like amongst other borders, it's no longer there. We just pass through this program. So we eternally grateful for that. And I will honestly say that with this accreditation, it is similar to a diplomatic passport. If you know the strength of a diplomatic passport, you really are assured of yourself each time you come across the border, because you know that you are not going to queue just like everyone else. So in similar terms, I will also say this is a gold standard when it comes to international taxation. It is something that really fascinates us every day. We keep on wondering that a trade has become so similar for the group, such that because of this program, we can now do 2 lots from Bunya to Johannesburg and come back and load and deliver again because of this program. So there's just a free movement of our goods. So we're moving freely. And the nice thing about this thing now, the ERS is treating us as partners. I can safely say, in a good way, we are in bed with the ERS now. In a good way. In a good way, because just in case there are minor issues or minor understandings, they're able to call us into a round table. We discuss issues as equals now, not as enemies. So I think the eyes through which I see SRA, ERS now, they've really changed. I'm looking at them through different lenses because of this AEO program. So we've reaped some real benefits, tangible benefits through this program. So I would like to implore most of you who are not under this program to quickly register. If really you're importing a big stuff and exporting a lot of stuff, you really need this program, because at times the border, it will prove to be like a bottleneck for most traders. But if you have really cleared that, you will enjoy doing business. Smart border connectivity. Without sounding like a marketing our service providers, we call this at Montigny is the Rolls Royce kind of system, because we do we frame our declarations with our eyes closed. The previous system that we were using, it was taking us 45 minutes to an hour to frame just one declaration. Now it's 10 to 15 minutes. We're doing it with our eyes closed. Okay, what happened is, if I can just go back just one bit, there were a lot of errors when the EDI clerks were framing the border papers. It was also very costly to frame declarations. So we started off by doing a business re-engineering of our business processes. Then approached SRA. SRA at the time, now it's ERS. We approached them looking for advice regarding a system that would be compatible with ASICUDA. So when we agreed on that, we got the system, then it was integrated with our ERP system, which is our Sage Evolution. So what happens within this Sage Evolution, it produces a text invoice that acts as a source document now for framing this declaration. So you get into this Rolls-Royce kind of system, you find that the invoice has been pre-populated into this system. So within this system, it's got an inbuilt ASICUDA and SARS functionality. So you don't even log out when we frame these declarations. But I would like to invite you, free of charge, if you've got time, you can visit us, at Usutu. this is, it is saving us a lot of time. And in terms of errors have really gone down when these guys are framing our declarations. Because as you know, with the taxman, if you have overstated or understated, that amounts to a false declaration. So now, everything it's like right to the T. It's a Rolls-Royce kind of system. So we're framing our declarations without even struggling, like in record time, so that even our clients in South Africa and beyond, they are very happy because we're giving them like this super service. The plan is going forward, before I close, the plan is in going forward is to directly integrate also with our customers from Lesotho, Botswana, Namibia, to directly integrate with those revenue authorities. It's Botswana Unified Revenue Authority. There's Namibia, there's also Lesotho. That's the plan like going forward. We just want to take this a notch up because we can see that for us, it is working. So I would also advise like most companies to do that. And one thing you'd have to note, like on these two, they work like, there's a positive correlation between these two. They work together. Once you've sorted like the way in which the goods are supposed to cross the border, which is your AEO program, you need a very good system. That will minimize errors. I think I can end here for now. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sebenele. Thank you for sharing that. There we go, you've heard it for yourself. You can also be in bed with the ERS, as mentioned by Sebenele. And we do actually invite our prospective AEOs to be in contact with the ERS. Thank you so much, my panelists. We will take only 2 questions. Okay, I'll take the second one. With the high rate of unemployment that we're experiencing as a country, what assurance can be given that digitalization will not be worsening the situation? Restructure to where when everything is being automated? Lindele, that will go to you.
Thank you for the question, moderator. As mentioned, it is our roles that are being restructured, which means it is the work that we are doing and how we are doing the work. So if my work is being automated, it doesn't mean that I am no longer required. It does, however, mean that I just now have additional tools which I need to influence differently in how I am doing my work. So how we have seen these automations and the detail of the processes being detailed in how these changes are taking place, we are not seeing an actual need to now no longer have human capital within those processes, but it just says how we were executing our job is going to change. How we were doing the work is going to change. So what I now need is rather the skill in how to influence the AI that I've now been offered to use as part of my responsibilities.
Thank you, Linda. Ricardo, as a client, my worry is data protection and security. How do you alleviate that worry as you continue with this digitalization journey? Data protection and security.
Okay, thank you very much. I don't know how to respond to this one with SCCOM in the house. But nonetheless, data security is very critical to us in the sense that we've even established an office whose role is to purely bring everyone in the ERS to make sure that we always understand what can constitute a data breach. How do we continuously avoid data breaches? They do audits and the likes. Mr. Sakamuzi Mtunzi, who was up here earlier on, he's our expert in that regard. So what we are saying is that, yes, as we're embarking on digital transformation, we appreciate the fact that one of the biggest risks is breach of data breaches. It's something that we are well alive to. So even as we are rolling out these programs, even as we are doing everything that we are doing, that is one area that we'll always put a bit of emphasis on to say, how do we ensure that before we actually roll out this, this solution or this system, how do we ensure that it does not expose us to being penalized by SCCOM? So I think that's just as much as I can respond to it, to say that we are alive to that, and we have got structures in place to ensure that we review that area so that we don't find ourselves, or we don't find that risk actually materializing into an actual issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Ricardo. A big round of applause for the panelists. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, this was the last panel of our program today. We'd like to thank the panel for rounding up the discussions for today and sharing very critical insights with us. In preparing for this event, the Commissioner General highlighted how this piece is the most critical, and the people aspect is key in us actually realizing these digital ambitions. It's important that we walk the journey with not only our people, but our clients, in order to make any sort of progress from a digitalization perspective. Neither can be left behind. And I think just to highlight some of the conversations that have been had today and the intention that we heard from our what we're planning to do to create a digital that in detail. Ricardo also spoke to how we are going to be intentional and have already started being intentional in how we speak to our clients, how we segment them, how we speak to them, and the various channels that we use. And then Matsinane ngathi uzama ukuthatha umsebenzi wami namuhla ngoba nguye marketing waka ERS. He really unpacked AO and the benefits that they are enjoying with that program. We do implore traders in the room, manufacturers in the room to come and speak to us about how to register for AO. And also just to find out what they did with their customs declaration project, how that worked for them, and if there's any interest in the room as well to collaborate with ERS on that, we'd be very excited. Ladies and gentlemen, then this brings us to really the end of our program. I'd like to call upon the Commissioner General, Brighto Ngambule, to officially close today's event. He will then just highlight to us some of the key takeaways from today's discussion, but also outline what some of the next steps are based on the insights and conversations had today. Thank you, distinguished guests, for taking the time to listen to ERS's digitalization story. But not only just listening, engaging with us, we will be responding to all of the questions that had been listed on Slido. Thank you to our speakers and panelists we've had today, and just sparking some of these conversations on how we can truly realize those digital ambitions and move that agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the CG to the stage for the last time to officially close our event. Please, a round of applause for our CG.
Thank you again, Program Director. And as we come to the conclusion of this very important event, allow me to express our deepest appreciation to the ministers that joined us this morning, the panelists who are here, shared very invaluable information, the distinguished guests who are here, definitely our board members who are still here. It shows that you support the initiative that we are running through. Now, this initiative will benefit the entire country. It will reduce cost of compliance to our clients. It will eliminate a lot of the compliance barriers that we see on a day-to-day basis. Sebenele did summarize for us the picture at the border. He said they don't stop. So once fully implemented, actually even right now, our border is a no-stop for authorized operators. We would therefore invite those that have not joined the program to join the program. We will help them with the process that has to be followed in enrolling. Okay, there's a slide that's supposed to be showing up here. Now, this digitalization program is enabled by technology, but it is beyond technology. Okay, I'll continue anyway. So just picture an iceberg where the tip of the iceberg, that's the part of the iceberg that you see. Oh, there it comes. So the part that you see is the technology. But the key success factors is what is below the surface. So what is below the surface is change. Someone said the true measure of innovation or technology is the extent at which it changes behavior, or the extent at which it improves the standard of living for those that it is meant to serve. So the message that we are sending here is really the success is what you see below the surface. Now, what you see below the surface is collaboration. Collaboration with ecosystem partners, collaboration with the ecosystem partners who are here with us today, and those that are not with us. Ricardo talked about employee experience, extremely important. And 2 years ago, we made a commitment here. We said we will improve the quality of service, and we did. With this digitalization program, the customer is at the heart of the program. I did mention earlier that all that we're looking for is that the client must just pay the correct amount. No penny less, not a penny more. To the extent Ricardo talked about co-creation, we are happy for the client to tell us how they want to comply, as long as they pay the correct amount and they pay it on time. So the co-creation then is about saying, what would be the most effective and efficient processes for both parties, for both the tax administration and the client, to meet the compliance obligation of the client. May I also, at this point, thank in advance my colleagues at the ERS, because I know that they will implement the programs that we talked about today. And from experience, from what they have done before, I know they will implement. Can they just pardon me, because I am going to ask the program directors. May I just ask the program directors to stand? The program directors are the people who are here, in case they've forgotten. And the program owners and the certified project managers. Sebakhohliwe. Yes. The process engineers, the IT professionals, the certified change management experts, the human capital team, the project beneficiaries. In short, may I just invite all ERS employees in the auditorium to stand, even those who are joining and following the program virtually, wherever they are, please stand. And then, ladies and gentlemen, please, let's give them a loud round of applause. Thank you. You may sit. I guarantee you that a year from now, 2 years from now, revenue administration will be different in this country. As I close, I would also like to express our deepest appreciation to the media, even though I don't see them anymore. They left with the ministers, okay? But it's okay. They provide a very critical bridge between ourselves and our clients. So we really, really appreciate them. And they keep us on the narrow path. I have thanked you, ladies and gentlemen. May I then, at this point, do I hand back to? Yes, there are some very important messages about refreshments that the team would like to share. Please come over. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, while the CG prepares to do a small token of appreciation to his speakers and panelists, we have reached the end of our program. We have provided for lunch right outside of our foyer and cafeteria. Please do help yourselves once CG finalizes this part of the program. Thank you.
May I, at this point, invite all our panelists? Yeah, all of them, nalabala ikhaya. And please do remember to declare afterwards.
The Eswatini Revenue Service, empowered by the ERS Act of 2008, is committed to mobilizing revenue and facilitating legitimate trade. At the heart of our mission lies a bold vision: achieving 100% voluntary compliance for a better kingdom of Eswatini. To turn this vision into reality, our strategic plan, Sibambene, focuses on 4 cornerstone programs: enhancing employee experience, elevating client experience and education, streamlining trade facilitation, driving digital transformation. Our strategic theme is to be digitalized, data-driven, and partner-focused by 2027. Guided by this theme, we are embracing a future where technology drives autonomous processes, enhancing efficiency, transparency, and service delivery for a thriving Eswatini. Our digital transformation fully automates the tax or customs value chain, registration, declaration, and payment. Our digital transformation revolves around 4 ambitious goals. 1. Seamless registration. Imagine a world where registering as a taxpayer is effortless. By integrating with government databases, we will ensure that data collected at public touchpoints flows securely into our tax administration system. With real-time updates, our records will remain accurate and reliable. Through these innovations, we will enhance the integrity of our taxpayer database, fully automate registration processes, and make registering for individuals and businesses seamless and stress-free. 2. Transformed declarations. Tax filing and customs declarations will never be the same. Leveraging advanced data integration, we will pre-fill tax returns and import-export declarations with real-time, accurate information straight from the client and third-party databases. This innovation will minimize manual entries, reduce compliance costs, and enhance accuracy. Security is paramount. We will ensure every client's data is safeguarded. With scalable solutions, our systems are ready to adapt to the future, making compliance simpler for years to come. 3. Integrated payments. Picture this: tax and customs payments reimagined. Our systems will interface directly with banking platforms, offering faster processing and instant payments. The result? A quicker, more intuitive, and hassle-free payment experience for everyone. 4. Smart customs. At our borders, we are deploying cutting-edge automation to create a secure, efficient trade environment. By reducing clearance times and trade costs, we are fostering collaboration with stakeholders while enhancing risk management. Our Smart Customs initiative will facilitate legitimate trade, detect and regulate risky goods more effectively, and create a virtual border experience for trusted traders. These 4 ambitions: seamless registration, pre-populated declarations, integrated payments, and smart customs, are the foundation of ERS's digital transformation. Supported by critical enablers such as enhanced customer experience, robust data analytics, legislative reform, and state-of-the-art technology, we are paving the way for lower compliance costs, streamlined and efficient processes, an empowered client who is willing and able to comply with tax and customs obligations, and a flourishing Eswatini economy. Together, with you, our valued partners, we are shaping a digitalized, data-driven future. Join us on this transformative journey. Eswatini Revenue Service, raising